What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Black Vibes. As I promised, I will be doing this every week. Apologies, though, for this one being a day or two late because, you know, kind of busy week at work, kind of busy week outside of work. Some things going on that delayed me from doing much content. Um, I didn't do much content this week. I had a lot of stuff going around in my head to work on, but just could never get to it. Could never get the time nor the privacy to be able to record because I live with someone, so kind of hard with them bopping around and doing all the things. I won't even go into the details. This is why I need to definitely figure out the own place thing, but that's neither here nor there. Nor does that matter about this. So hopefully you all have had a great week. Um, it is May 5th, the day of this recording, so happy Cinco de Mayo for all of you Star Wars fans. Happy May the 4th. Hope you had a good May 4th. Hope you enjoyed the trailers that came out for Acolyte and what was the other trailer that dropped? Damn. I totally forgot, but there was two Star Wars trailers that dropped yesterday, and I'm gonna have to look this up because it was something else that happened on May the 4th. It was Acolyte and I forget what it is. If you could remind me, let me know. Because there was something else I know that came out for May the 4th. But the Acolyte trailer, of course, looks really, really good. Um, very, very interested in seeing what that show is all about. Need to catch up on my Star Wars stuff anyway. Need to catch up on a lot of TV shows. Been told I need to watch Fallout, so I will watch Fallout. Um, Even though I'm not a huge Fallout fan, I do like the world. I like the premise around it, and the fact that I'm being told by everybody who's seriously into Fallout that they truly captured that environment makes me interested in seeing exactly what that show is all about and how well it's done. I hear it's a really good story too, really good acting. So I'm with all of that. So definitely. Speaking of TV shows, of course, I've been watching X-Men '97, like most of you, and of course, like most of you, I've been loving it. Show's amazing, like, and it took me a couple of days, but I finally watched part one of the three-part finale, and I remember shout out to my boy Cardiac. I remember saying to him, "Yo, this is just the first of this. We got two more of these to sit through. This is gonna be crazy." It was tiring. Like the amount of stuff that they're able to cram in within that small, like 30-minute or so time frame, on average, is wild. It's fucking wild to me, and the shit is just there's so much depth to it, so much nuance to it. Like the emotions that they push you through, the subjects that they touch and make you think about. Like the shit is like crazy. Also makes me really wonder. Like I'm sure a lot of you, what the fuck did the show writer like? What did DeMeo do to lose that job? Like, cause I know we're not in the era where you would do this frequently, and I totally agree. You shouldn't do this frequently. People's talents shouldn't supersede, you know, certain certain things that they do, or certain morality, certain rules. Like, just because you're really good at something doesn't mean that you should be able to break all the rules and get away with doing, really heinous stuff, especially. You know, we shouldn't be like, oh, whatever. So what if he beats his wife or beats his significant other? That boy good. Like, we do it sometimes, and we all do it. Let's be honest. We all find a way to rationalize fucking with something, despite the history behind it. But you know, Disney's not trying to lose money, and if what he did was big enough to where they thought that it would be a threat to their, business, fuck it, get rid of him. I'm not mad at them for doing that, but I just want to know what the fuck he did, because it's like, what, like, he has done a great job, and we're actually going to get a second season of his work too, because they've already done season 2, so we know that at least the first 2 seasons will be his work, so there will be continuity. Um, Kind of sucks to be the person to follow up to him, because you'll have to match that style. But at the same time, for all the praise that I'm heaping on him, also know how this thing works. Yeah, he's the showrunner, and you know had the final say. But there's a room of writers, there's a ton of talent that was working with him, and I guarantee you, he wasn't the end all be all as to why this turned out that good. He just basically managed that, creative team very, very well to put out something great. And all they need to do is find somebody who understands that creative team from within, hopefully, and is able to pull the same stuff that he was able to pull from them. Like, again, let's not act like he is the only reason. Let's not let's not Vince McMahon him, where everybody thought that Vince McMahon was the only reason. Like, no, he wasn't the only reason why WWE popped off the way it was. It took a lot of people around him to help make that shit. He was just smart enough to go with it, So could be that situation too with this. But hats off to him and his team for what they've done. Amazing TV show. Like, I was expecting to be watching something that I would enjoy mainly off of, like, hey, I for the most part enjoyed the original series, and it'll be good to see this cartoon again because nostalgia, whatever. But I wasn't expecting the depth that it has to it, and it to be this goddamn good. It's probably one of the better things, not only that Marvel has done in recent history. They've done some good things, but this is probably the best. But this is probably one of the better things that have been put together, in media, period, um, in a good while. We've had a lot of really good things come in different forms of media, so, hey. Speaking of media, let's bounce some music a little bit. By the way, and shout out to Incredible Hulk for responding to that video that I did about this whole beef and explaining to me about the modernization of beef. I totally get it. Like, it's not being done the way that I'm used to rap beefs being done. So it's part of the reason why I'm not as close in watching this as I would have been when I was younger. But shout out to him for letting me understand why, like, what's going on, so to speak, with how they're doing this beef between. Now it's basically just a Drake versus Kendrick beef. It started out, as I said in the video, from what I understand. And again, please, people, correct me and fill in details, because I am very appreciative of that, especially since I'm not the one sitting here listening to song after song after song, because Kendrick Lamar has gone crazy with this shit, and wow, there might be like 30 songs by the end of this week at the rate he's going. But no, from what I understand, Kendrick dropped the bar basically saying how he's the best. There's no top three. Y'all can't fuck with him. J. Cole came back and like responded to that, but then was like, nah, I'm not doing this. He didn't feel right to him. Of course, he's still getting blasted for that. And as I said at the end of the video, I kind of like feel like he's the smartest person in the room right now, because this is not, again, the beef that I'm used to seeing. This is gone beyond like my crew's better than you or my style's better than you. It's even seemed to have transitioned beyond just straight, I don't like you, you don't like me. This is like, I'm trying to end your career, end your relationships. At least from Kendrick Lamar's perspective, I think this man is really trying to destroy Drake's life at this point, like in all aspects. Like, he wants to fuck with his money, his family, his relationships, his pride, ego, you name it. I feel like Kendrick now, and it is in part of what I think I mentioned. I think why it's gotten to the point where it's gotten is that after the J. Cole thing, apparently Drake came out with a diss that was talking about Kendrick Lamar and personal things like his height, his shoes, saying that he beats his wife and things like that. Now, I don't know. I'm trying to remember, did the accusations of him being abusive to his wife come out in that first song or another song he did? I don't know, but whatever it was that he said about Kendrick on a personal level seemed to like hit Kendrick in the spot where he was like, fuck this. You want to go there? We're going to go there, motherfucker. And then he started coming out and talking about the allegations of course, Drake with underage women. That's been something that's been brought to attention before. But your T did that. But Kendrick seems to have like even more shit and pointing out even more. It's like, it's funny. Roy Woods Jr., a comedian, he said that shit probably best. Like, Kendrick rap seems to be something that you have to look at as like reading a research paper or something, because this man is actually saying stuff where if you go back and listen again, you find new stuff, and then you be like, oh, and like you catch a lot of fucking like details. He seems to be continued like with all his drops, because he dropped that third song. I think Drake dropped another, but then Kendrick dropped a song 15 minutes after or something like that, because he said he knew where he in the previous song that he knew where Drake was gonna go with his diss, and apparently Drake went where he knew he was gonna go with the diss. So the song he dropped minutes later addressed that. Like, so now people are thinking there's someone in Drake's camp that's feeding Kendrick information, and Kendrick is just taking all of this information and using it. And then after the song that came 15 minutes or so, or after, later in the day, yesterday, there was another song by Kendrick that came out, and it's just gone crazy. And there's apparently more Kendrick Lamar songs on the way. Like, people connected to him have been going on social media like, yeah, this man ain't finished with him. He's not done. And, like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is wild. It's fucking wild. Never in my life have I seen anything like this. Not when it comes to rap. Not, like, it's like watching multiple episodes of a reality TV show, like The Real Housewives or something. Like, back to back to back. It seems like this is uber drama. And yo, God bless y'all. All of y'all who invest in the time and the energy in this. God bless. I hope it's as entertaining as it seems to be. I just can't get into that because I'm just not about that drama on that level. But it seems to be fulfilling a lot of people. You know, it's definitely causing a lot of the content creators to go wild too. Because I've said this plenty of times. People on social media love mess, and mess draws attention. So a lot of the content creators who are into that mess are really, really pumping out material. And God bless you. I'm sure you're doing well. I'm sure you're doing very well. Just regurgitating the same thing, and maybe in slightly different ways. But yeah, that shit's crazy as fuck. The shit's wild. Who knows when it'll end now? Because again, it seems like Kendrick Lamar is just really obsessed with destroying this man. And you know, he's intelligent and talented enough to do, you know, I think significant damage. But let's be honest, like as someone who's not a big Drake fan, I'm gonna say this just to be prefacing my like statements, so you can take it how you want. Drake has always come off as like, you know, a goofy sort of like corny type personality, but his music is so beloved, you know. And even after the Pusha T thing, people will never stop liking his music. So I don't see, you know, with all of that, him completely falling off. I don't think people completely fall off anymore these days. Social media has made it to where you can't have a complete fall off unless you yourself decide to run and cut bait. Because think about some other personalities that have still been able to maintain. And while they aren't as big as they were able to have moments after their disastrous, you know, situations. Um, I remember I can't think of the rapper, the 6ix9ine dude, who literally went into court, snitched on a bunch of people to get thrown in jail, and for a short period, he'd come back on social media and was getting attention, and then disappeared again. But it was like it wasn't as quick as you would have thought. Like you would have thought he would have been fucking wanting to hide, but he did a little bit and made a little noise afterwards. You know, um, DJ Academics. You know, people were disliking him, which understandable. I've never understood the appeal to him, but people were disliking him hard, and on him, he's still maintaining. He's getting content off of this current beef that people are watching. You know, people were even hate watching him. You know, so he's able to still. I don't think he probably makes the living that he used to, maybe, but he's still able to make a living off of his content. You know, so yeah, if you're thinking this is going to end Drake's career, no, this is a different era. People will come back from like way worse shit. Um, y'all be screaming about people being woke, getting people canceled. You can't. I mean, fuck. We just saw Harvey Weinstein is going to be able to get a new trial after spending years in jail for fucking, you know, sexual abuse and rape. And now he's getting, now somebody decides to throw him a lifeline and be like, hey, you can get out. We saw it with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby got thrown in jail. And then the judge came like, and there was a technicality that got him off. Bill Cosby went home. So, quote unquote, canceling somebody isn't real. If anything, you face consequences. But even now, the consequences aren't probably as dire as they were a couple of decades ago. You know, so people go back to the OJ thing when OJ died, and people were going off that same fight. You know, being mad at people trying to talk shit about OJ. You know, clearly OJ made a comeback for people to still be defending him. Like, you can't be canceled if enough people still support you. There's no such thing as being canceled. Like, it doesn't happen. It's not a real thing. You face consequences. You may lose, you know, revenue. You may not be able to do certain things anymore. But in this age, there's always a way that you can circle back and find the lane and be okay if you really want to. Any cancellation is on your part. It ain't on, you know, society. Society just don't fuck with you like that no more for whatever reason. Lots of times it's very good reasons. So yeah, that's why like when people say like I'm being canceled, like miss me with that shit, y'all. Come on. Especially if you're a celebrity. Any celebrity with a good enough PR team and smart enough to walk a straight path as this shit goes down, they'll be fine. Watch what it happens with Jonathan Majors now that he's shut the fuck up. Yeah. Anyway. Speaking of like regurgitating shit though, I was just watching The Running Man, the old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, before I started recording. And I remembered how there was a announcement that they're looking to potentially make a, you know, do a remake of The Running Man. Which, of course, when I heard that, I shook my head because I'm so sick of people just constantly wanting to remake shit. Like, goddamn it, you can come up with original ideas. Especially since a lot of times these remakes end up not being worth it at fucking all. Like, come the fuck on, y'all. What are y'all doing? Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. If it's chronic, that's not need help. I'm thinking back to the Total Recall remake, another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that was remade, and thinking about how, like, especially with remakes of things like this, people try to make them quote unquote more smarter. When, okay, the original movies already had a thread of some type of message to them. It's a message that we don't really pay attention to because they lean in onto the wild shit. And it's the wild shit that made us like Total Recall, Running Man, and stuff like that. Like, the absurdity of what goes on in those movies, you know. That's what was entertaining to it. And the action, you know, for its time. The message part, you know, as we get older, we look back and we get it, we understand it, and stuff like that. But it was never the point of why we liked it. And as someone who's always trying to have deeper meaning and message in his content, even I understand that doesn't work when you go revisit something that popularity was never present, like, never made off of that. At least I find that the people who do the remakes aren't able to. I'll take that back. You can go back and you can point out just how deep these things were and make the message a bit more meaningful. If you are truly just trying to remake it in that realm, but a lot of times people are stuck with, I gotta kind of play honor to the original while trying to make that point, and it becomes a hard line to walk because one, ain't nobody asked for this remake. Two, you probably don't, you know, probably don't won't have the resources to recreate it as well as you want to. And three, there's other stuff out there that tells that same similar type story with same similar type message in a much better way, to where you don't need to remake this to do it. And it just all becomes another, like, you just want to use the name value to make money, and that makes people dismiss it as well. So I'm not a big fan of remakes. I wish people would stop doing remakes, but hey, it is what it is. Lastly, just not much gaming stuff going on news wise. And sorry, I need to take a sip of my drink. I will say that I have been trying to complete games that I haven't finished. I actually finished an old Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 9, that I never beat. Um, the other day, I was proud of myself for finally doing that. I need to finish Final Fantasy Remake. I need to finish Persona 5. Good lord. I've put in over 120 hours in that game and I still haven't beat it because I was doing so much side shit. The game's good as fuck, though. Love that game. Um, you know, need to finish Ghost of Tsushima. They're probably going to be announcing a sequel to that soon. I need to finish that shit. Like, come on. But also, I've been playing around with the Xbox Cloud Gaming. I explained about that a couple of videos ago. How I had to replace my Xbox 360 controller so I could have a controller to use on it. Um, I will do a review of both Xbox Gamepass, cloud gaming, and the Xbox. I guess they just call it the Xbox controller now. They don't even put a name. You know, it's the one that accompanied the Xbox Series consoles, the most recent version of it. Uh, just real quick on cloud gaming, it works. In some cases, it works really well. I've actually played Battlefield 24 with it, and it tended to work very, very well. I didn't feel any latency or lag. And I'm doing this through like a monitor. I'm not even like using my computer. I'm just using a monitor. So I'm doing it via Wi-Fi on a TV essentially, and it works. Yeah, it works. There's some, you know, issues, but I'll discuss that in the review. As far as the modern Xbox controller, I can tell y'all now, like, that review's not going to be that positive. I don't think it's going to be a burial of it, as Microsoft still knows how to make controllers. It's just that, you know, if you use the 360 controller and you come off of that to anything, like, I can't imagine what the feeling was coming from the 360 controller to the Xbox One controller. I'm curious to know if you guys had made that transition. Did you think that you like stayed the same, was step up or step down? Because this right here, I feel like is a big step down, and this is the most recent controller. But I'm very, very curious to know what you guys think. You'll get the review soon. I just got to put that shit together for you guys, and some other gaming content that I want to put together as well. But yep, I think that's it. I've jabbered on about all I could jabber about. Again, happy Cinco de Mayo. Don't get too fucked up, especially if you gotta work tomorrow like me. I can't be drinking like as much tequila as I would love to. Even though I shouldn't be drinking a lot of tequila anyway. But, Cinco de Mayo. Have fun. appropriate the um, appropriate this day to the fullest, y'all. 'Cause that's what we kind of doing. None of us are celebrating the end of the Mexican Revolution. Let's be honest. Anyway, but yeah, that's about it. So, thank you guys for listening and watching all the videos. Glad that I am back to doing this again. And we will have more content. We'll have more to talk about on this coming week because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's brewing that I'm gonna have to talk about, and it may be another hour show. So, all right, guys, take it easy. As always, let me know what you think, and I will holler at you guys later. Peace.